Okay, good afternoon, happy Sunday. Today I'm going to do a video about doing a cover wrap. This was a request from Hudson Lynn's, which I'm happy to do. So if you have followed any of the videos about making an ebook cover, today we're going to take that ebook cover and turn it into a paperback wrap. So it's got the front, the spine, and the back. Now before we do that, you need to know a couple of things. One, you need to know the interior page length because that will determine the spine width. So you have to have your interior already formatted. I'm going to show you how I did that in Vellum really briefly, and I'm going to you're going to watch me on the computer grab that page length. Then you need to know whether or not you want white or cream paper, because that determines the spine width as well, because the white and cream paper from the two self-published printing platforms, KDP and Ingram Spark, they have slightly different weights. And also Ingram Spark and KDP also have slightly different paper weights between the two. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that and what I do on the spine so that I only need to use one cover design for both platforms. All right, so you need to know your interior page count, and you need to have made your choice about whether or not you want white or cream paper. And then you need to have your template. And for that, we're going to flip over to the computer so you can see what I do next. Okay, so now I'm going to walk you through step by step how I make a paperback wrap for a book from the ebook cover. So there are a couple of pieces of information that you need to know before you can come to this website, but I just want to show you this website up front because A, I love it, and B, I want you to bookmark it now so that it's not, and if you come back to this video, I want you to see it kind of at the front of the video. So it's called bookow.com, painless print and ebook formatting. It's completely free, but there is an opportunity to leave a tip for them if you like their service, and I highly recommend that you do that. What we will be looking for is this free CreateSpace KDP cover template generator right here. But before we do that, we need the information that I mentioned at the top. So I format all of my paperbacks in Vellum. I format all of my books in Vellum. This is the Vellum file for a book, a Navy SEAL romance called Fallback, that I need to make a new paperback for because I recently changed the cover. So this is a new cover. I'm putting this whole series in Kindle Unlimited in the subscription program, and so I just wanted fresh covers before I launch that. And I want the paperbacks to match because it's just a little bit of labor for me. And right now, since I shared in another video that I'm not writing right now, I thought I could fill my time with admin work, which is always fun for me. If it's not fun for you, then, don't do it. But if this is a project that you would enjoy doing, then please, consider doing like new covers or new paperbacks or something like that. So here you need two pieces of information. I mentioned that you needed the page count. You also need to know your trim size. So in Vellum, it's under print settings. Both of the pieces of information that you need are here in print settings. I do my paperbacks, I really like the 5x8 size, but Vellum also allows you to set a bigger size. Like the 6x9 is a very nice size for a really long book, because you get more words on a page, so your spine is smaller, which brings your total cost down. And I'll talk about cost maybe at the end of the video. Okay, so this book at 5x8 is 176 pages. All right, and so now I take that information and I go back to Bookow here, and I click on the cover template generator. And the reason why I like the Bookow template generator better than the one that you can download directly from KDP, or at least you could, I don't know even if you still can, is that the one originally from CreateSpace, they rounded per 20 pages. This one is precise to the number of pages that you have. So it is width 5, height 8, page count 176, and here is where that paper type matters. If you like white or cream, it just changes the weight of the paper a little bit on the printer end, so you need to know that before you go any further. I'm going to do cream. I leave the ISBN information blank. So you put your email address in, you click consent to email, and then you click email cover template. And then after the next page, after you click email, the next page is this. And here is where you can make a donation, which I have done before and I will do again now. Okay, so this is what the email looks like when you get it, like that. And you just click and download the zip file. And then after the zip file downloads, you can open it. And at that point, I use the PNG file and I open with GIMP. Where did it go? Oh, it's still opening. Okay. Oh. Okay, so now here we go. We are in GIMP. And I like to expand my screen just a little bit just so I can see the borders here. The very first thing that I do is I go in, where's my toolbox? After a slight whoopsie where I accidentally closed my toolbox over here and then could not find it. Then I had to go to YouTube, and I will share the link to the how do I fix this video, because I told you in another video I am a hack and I didn't know how to I couldn't figure out how to get it back exactly as I wanted on my own, so I used a YouTube video. So anyway, we're back, and what I'm doing now is I just went and I toggled under Windows, I toggled single window mode just so that nothing would accidentally get lost again. I actually prefer to work not in single window mode because I like to have lots of different. Oh my god, my kid is playing Fortnite in the background. Okay, I don't know that this is gonna work. We're gonna have to. We'll come back. Let's try this again. So where were we? Right. So we have our cover template, which we got from bookowl.com, and it is 5x8 and 176 pages, and I selected cream paper, and all of that is here on the template in case you've forgotten. The next thing I like to do is I like to drag in my guide. So what you're going to do is you're going to click here on the rulers, and you're going to click and you're going to drag down a guide to, I put in 2 guides. I overlay them where the dotted lines are. Those are about where the cover will be cut. So I bring in a dotted line. There we go. For all of those cut lines. And one more for the bottom. And then I do the same again for the inside of the orange lines. The orange lines are really important. You can't have any text that drifts onto those orange lines. This one, so you can click on it and drag it over because it wasn't in the right spot. There we go. The text cannot go on the orange line. So particularly on the spine, I like to actually just be inside the orange line just a little bit. The spine is where it really matters, especially for something 176 pages. That's a skinny little spine relatively. Okay, so now that I have those in place, what I'm going to do is I'm going to import open as layers. I'm going to open as layers. I don't know where my book cover is, so we need little like pause break seals. Where's seals and covers? And it was fall back that I'm doing. So I'm importing the XCF file, which is the GIMP file. And what I'm going to do here on my layers is I'm going to make sure that I have all the visible layers. Anything that's not a visible layer, because I often will leave stuff in my XCF file, those can all go. But anything that's visible, I'm going to want to move together. And if at any point as I'm doing this, like maybe you're like a super like high compliant person and you're like, oh, I wouldn't leave the cover in such a mess. That's one thing that a high compliant person might think. But two, you might also think, wouldn't it be easier to make the paperback first and then cut the ebook from it? And you would be absolutely 1000% correct. And if you are the type of person who could maybe do this paperback first, then that would be really, really awesome. And I would encourage you to do that. So here you'll see, this is like the white, this on over here, this, and you can kind of see the border of it here. That is the, that's the edge of the paperback or the ebook. So I'm going to move it. I don't know how to explain that. So I'm just going to move it over. And that should roughly fit in the cut line border. And you'll see that my image is not, there we go, see? So it fits, it's almost as tall as the cut lines, but it's wider because my paperback dimensions are not the same as my ebook dimensions. So I'm going to scooch it over and scooch it down until it's like kind of centered. And we're just kind of eyeballing it here. Kind of centered there. So now what I need to do is I need to, that's pretty good. I'm going to take it all the way over to the edge. And then what I need to do is I need to uncouple my images. See, I've got this one and then I have this one because I'm super attached to, oh no, actually, sorry, I need to uncouple everything else and leave only those two images tied together because I want to move them together. And then I have to adjust the proportions so that it goes all the way, oops. I need these to be linked so that they stay in proportion to each other. And I need them to cover to the top and bottom of the cover. And what we're going to do is we're going to then recenter that image underneath my name, because you'll notice the way that I had laid out my name, it matters that where it is in relation to his body. And then I need to decide where I want to cut off the cover for the spine, and how do I want to do that? Do I want to bring black up to it? So I'm going to add I'm just going to do like a plain black back for this cover. I'll do another cover that shows, I need to fill, no, that's what I need. I need to fill this with black. And don't panic that you're not going to see the template. Remember, literally everything I always do on separate layers, and so this can always be moved up so that you can see it again. If you want to test where everything is in relation to the cover, and then you can just make that invisible again when you're working. Okay, so like right now, for example, this is not like, as far down and dirty, this is not a bad way to do this. So that means that the cover image would wrap onto the spine, and then somewhere kind of on the edge of the spine, it will, so this is the cut line right, or this is the fold line rather, right there. See the red one there in the middle? That's the fold line. So if I'm going to wrap the image onto the spine, then I want to make it bigger so that it comes to right here. If I decide that I want the spine to be black, did I not put a cut line there? Hang on, we have to get rid of that. And we have to get rid of this. And I have to go back to this one, and I did not put in another guide. There should always be 3 guides, so it's right here. And then the middle one is the fold on the spine. It's not the cut line, it's the fold. Okay. Back. Was that completely confusing what I just did there? I apologize. I just noticed that I only had 3 guides on this side and 2 on this side. So I have to decide if I want the image. The cover image either needs to end here or it needs to end here. The problem with it ending here when you do that kind of hard line, is that sometimes the printer is off a little bit, and it's more important that it's off, I think, on the back than on the front. Like if I have to choose a spot, I think I want the cover to curl. As long as I can find places for my name and the title on the spine, I think I'm okay with it going to there. And then I just want to make it a little bit bigger so it comes to that second line. Let's scale it up and see how that looks. Did it affect where my name sits on his shorts? No, that's fine. All right, I think that's good. All right, so then the other thing that, I should have said this before. The other thing that you need is the back cover copy. So I should have said that up the front of the, you need to know the dimensions, but you also need to know about the book, the stuff like this. This text, the little blurby blurb. So I'm going to put that on the back here, kind of centered there. Paste that in. And right now that text is black on black. That does not work. Let's do white. And what do I want that to be in? Questrel is like one of my favorite fonts. That's kind of too big. That's way too big. That's way too big. I don't know why I was doing it that big. All right, what the heck? So random that it's, okay, anyway, let's go 48. Oh, that's better. Okay, so there's a lot of space here on the back. So another option is to bring in another image, or you can put a picture of yourself on there, your website. And as per usual, I have not thought this through, and so I don't know what I'm going to put there. Oh, you know what I might put there? I might put the title again. Let's duplicate layer. Let's get rid of that. Oops. Duplicate layer. We're going to tie this and this together. I'm going to get rid of that one. So I'm only moving, might as well move this one better. Okay, I'm only moving these two things. There we go. And they don't need to be that big. So we can make it like half that big. Scale. So you can do something like this on the back if you don't have a lot of text, you don't have a lot of image that you're working around. Maybe up at the top would be nice. Like that. And then the blurb below it. And then I like to add my website. And there will be, if you remember, or if you pay attention when you download the template, there will be a barcode that gets added when it loads right here, this yellow square. So you want to avoid putting anything there in your design. And I like to put my website down kind of opposite the barcode. Like that. And we'll do that. And I mean, you can add more information to the back cover if you want, but that's certainly sufficient. Okay, so then what remains is I need to put the title on the spine and also my name. So I'm going to, what just happened? Did I not move you? Oh, what just happened? I don't know. I have, oh, because it's behind that image. So when you put an overlay image on, like it's the top image that your GIMP wants you to grab. That's what was happening. Okay. So I just duplicate that again. And of course, this needs to be like a heck of a lot smaller. Did I? I don't know what's happening. There's so much Fortnite yelling happening. I don't know what that is. Okay. So much Fortnite happening. And I don't know how my kid feels about being... okay. Let's do 100C. All right. So, and then what I do is I take that and I will rotate 90 degrees. So the rotate is over here on the toolbar. And then I move it. And here so down here in the left-hand corner, you can click and change your, how zoomed in you are. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you're well between those two lines. This one and this one, the inside most of your three. And then once you are between that, then you can decide where is the best place for your title. Like, is it in the center? Is it up at the top? And is it down at the bottom? If I put it down at the bottom, I think I'd want to put it in black. I think I might put my name there in black. So I'm going to move this up right about there. I think that's good. And then I need my name as well. Nope. I'm going to spend most of the... doing paperbacks is actually like my least favorite thing to do in graphic design. It's very fiddly, and I am not a patient human being. So the other one was 100. Let's see if 100 works. 90. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this way to right there. I'm going to zoom in again. I'm going to make sure that this is the same size. Once I've rotated it, it's like, it doesn't matter if I do this as a font or if I just drag and adjust. Scale. That's good. And I want it to be centered vertically. Is that vertical? Sort of. Because it's on it. I want it to be centered here, between here and here. I want it to be centered too. I don't care if it's the same size, just that it's centered. All right, and we're going to zoom out, and I'm going to bring that layer down. There. There. Okay, so that is a paperback cover. I could add more to it, but I'm really happy with what that looks like. So now what I'm going to do is, I should have saved it off the top. I'm going to save as, I don't want it to save as that PNG. I don't want it to save Dropbox. I'm going to save this as, where's my Navy Seal? Seals Undone Covers. And this is Fallback Paperback. Okay, now here is how you export it. This is really an important step. You do the design, then what you have to do, and this is very scary in this moment because I say keep everything as a layer, but what you want to do is you want to go and make sure that you've saved it, right? So I just saved it, we're good. You go to Image, Flatten Image, and what this does is it crunches everything down so that it's on one image. And this means that your individual elements, like your text and your images, won't move around inside the PDF. Then we click on File, Export As, and we want to save that as a PDF. And the default settings are fine. So we export that as a PDF. Then what you do is you undo, Control Z or Command Z if you're on a Mac, and your layers pop back, and then I save again. In GIMP, if you do something, there's a little asterisk up here next to the file name. That means that it's not saved. So I like to, save frequently. It does not auto-save. Okay, so then you have your PDF, and your PDF cover is what you upload to CreateSpace or KDP. The most important thing that you remember is that you flatten to export as the PDF and then immediately unflatten because you want to retain your layers in case you decide that you need to change it because you have a typo or something like that. So I hope that that was helpful. I hope that the Fortnite noise in the background did not interfere too much. And if you have any questions or video requests, please let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more very real, very honest cover hacking videos and tips.